Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Storytime Spotlight. My name is Catherine or Cece Calhoun, and I am the Director of Education and Community Engagement at the August Wilson African American Cultural Center. This is our bi-monthly segment of Storytime Spotlight where we highlight Black and Brown authors of children's books. So today we have a special treat because this is our first time actually having an illustrator as well on the show. And we are so excited to have him. So I would like everyone, please welcome Shawn Martinbrough. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah, Martinbrough. That's good.
Martinbrough.
Martinbrough,
Yes.
that's good. Yeah, sometimes you could do a hard T or a soft T, depending on where you're from.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us know that. So, Shawn, tell us about yourself. Like, tell us where you're from.
Okay, well, first
About
off,
you.
I just want to thank you and the August Wilson Cultural Center / Museum for having me. It was so cool to actually visit the museum last year, and shout out to Janice Burley and my guy Philip Thompson, who did an amazing exhibition featuring comic book artists. And so, yeah, this is a pleasure to be here. As you can see, I'm in my studio. I am a artist and an author. So I draw and I write. And so this is really fun to talk about the process and also read a little bit from my children's book with I put together for Simon & Schuster with my co-creators and co-authors, Milo Stone, Joseph Village, and our amazing artist, Christopher Jordan, who really brought Judge Kim to life, which you'll be seeing. But
Awesome.
to answer your question, I'm originally from New York, native New Yorker, Bronx in the house, but I've been in the Washington, D.C. area for a long, long time. So this is my home now.
Okay. Well, thank you. We have New York and you said DC originally in the house. Okay.
Other
Love
way
it.
around. New York originally, D.C.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. So, Shawn, you know, what inspired you to be an illustrator?
Reading comics. When I took to comics at an early age, probably elementary school. I went to a private school, Parkway School in the Bronx. Shout out to Gun Hill Road. And that's really, I just bought comics every day. And that's just where I developed my love of just that form of storytelling, and, you read different superheroes like Batman, X-Men, Superman, and then you start drawing your own characters and you start, becoming inspired to tell your own stories. And so, yeah, then I just started drawing, and my mom and my dad saw that I sort of had a little a knack for drawing. And so they put me in a local drawing class in the local community center in the Bronx. And then I applied and I got into the music and art high school, which is the FAME school, which is where they would have kids from all over the 5 boroughs of New York City. And basically you could specialize either in art, music, drama, dance, or you're a vocal major. And so I got in under as an artist, and that was an amazing 4 years of high school, being around all of these creative kids from all over the city. And then I graduated from LaGuardia Music and Art, went to School of Visual Arts, got my degree in illustration, and then I got my first work working for Marvel Comics in 1992. So that tells you how old I am.
I don't know if you want to tell us. Like, no, I'm joking. But no, that's pretty amazing. I've always watched like Fame from like the musical aspect of things, and I went to a creative and performing arts school here called Kappa.
Okay.
And just to be in that environment all the time, like I'm sure just I don't know. I feel like that started for me where my love for the art that I'm a vocalist, so the art of
Okay.
music, and that started in that school. So it seems like, you had this talent and it just like evolved in school. Is that kind of accurate? And then
Yeah.
just went on here.
Yeah. Although, I have to say though, talking to I guess a former vocal major, when you are in a school with all of these different talents that are so kinetic, When you're an
Mm,
artist, you actually feel kind of boring because in my school, it was like the movie where kids would break out into singing in like the lunchroom or in the hallway. If you had
yeah,
an assembly, like the music majors would be going off and doing their performances. You know, uh, the art majors were on the same floor as the dance majors, so you see girls in leotards all the time dancing around, and art just seems so static. So you kind of like, oh, my skill is kind of boring. But then as
right.
you realize that art's probably the most pervasive of all of the art forms because you know it, the computer that we're working on is designed by artists. Our clothes are designed by artists. Your glasses are designed by
Yeah.
artists. You know what I mean? So it's kind of interesting, but it's amazing being with other creative types. And so I always tell whenever people come up to me and say, "Hey, my child is interested in drawing, and what should I do?" I'm like, get them into some kind of a drawing class, get them with other creative kids, because that'll really just enhance their creativity and their focus and keep them out of nonsense.
Yeah. So shout out to all the creative and performing arter folks out there.
There you go. There you go.
So yes, shout out to all of them from all the different parts of the world.
Now, listen, Kathy,
So
if
okay,
you want to break it into a song, I won't stop you.
those days are done, but
All right.
but yeah, only maybe one day we'll collab while you draw or do a sketch or something. I'll do a little song. How about that?
Okay. All right.
Um, so what made you get into the author, like, being an author then? Because you did have some pieces
Mhm.
of writing this book, right?
Yeah. Well, so I mean, it really comes down to storytelling. So as an artist, once I got my first professional job, as a comic book artist, the way comic books are put together, you have a writer who writes a script, and the artist will get, if you get the job to draw that script, you have to follow their script. And
Mhm,
so I've been working in comics for, geez, I mean, maybe like close to 30 years now. So I mean, I've just drawn from scripts. So I just have been honing my storytelling ability over the years. And visually, I would learn to tell a story. But I've always had, the inspiration to write my own stories as well. So now I really split my career between writing and drawing stories. And so Judge Kim really came out of just having so many ideas of so many different themes that you want to tackle, that sometimes you're like, okay, I'd rather tackle this from a writer perspective versus an artist perspective. And so that's really
mhm.
where the idea and the inspiration to team up with my partners and develop Judge Kim comes from. So, but on a regular basis, I'm either writing or drawing.
Awesome. And I was
Mhm.
gonna, get into Judge Kim. Like, where did Judge Kim come from? I know you touched base on like how you all had these creative processes and things flowing, but like, where did the character Judge Kim, and there's like a series of books with Judge Kim. So where did that all come from?
So I mean, I've been a huge. I always say that if I had more of a lifetime, I'd be a lawyer because I just like to debate, and some people say argue. But what? But I've always loved like those lawyer shows growing up, and like L.A. Law or The Practice or Law and Order, and so I had I have friends who were lawyers, and I had a really a close friend. We used to we used to kind of like, I used to hit her with questions about the law, and then she was like, I'm like, yeah, but if this happens, you can say this or you can say that, right? And she's like, no, that's just wrong. Like, where'd you get that from? And I'm like, well, I saw that on the television set in an episode or something. And she's like, no, and she really just explained or just broke down how your average person doesn't know about the law. And when you think about our institutions, our country is run by lawyers. Most of your senators are lawyers. Most of your, presidents are lawyers. But your average person doesn't know about the law. And it made me think about those old Schoolhouse Rock jingles when we were growing up, when they would teach you like how a bill becomes a bill. And you remember that just
Mhm.
from, like those lyrics. And I was like, wow, like we really need something like that today to really get kids and their parents engaged in terms of like critical thinking, figuring things out, weighing evidence, and just understanding how our legal system works. And so I said, hey, you know what? I went to my writing partners, and we collaborate on projects from time to time. and Milo
Mhm.
Stone and Joseph Illich. And I said, hey, what if we came up with this idea about a little uh, black girl judge? And, like her mom is a judge and she goes to work with her mom one day and just watches how her mom judges cases. And then when she goes back to the neighborhood, the kids in the neighborhood have a beef and she says, wait, 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 don't fight. Take this up to my treehouse, present the evidence, and I'll figure it out.
That's cute.
And we just really just developed that. And then my art style is just way too adult for something like this. So we reached out to our college buddy Chris Jordan, who's an amazing artist, and he's so versatile. And we said, hey Chris, like, would you want to work with us on this? And he was like, yeah. And so just over the years, we just developed this, and he had so many different styles that we had tried out for this. And when we finally approached Simon and Schuster, they were like, "Oh yeah, we love this, and we like this particular style," and that's how we got the two books, Judge Kim and the Kids Court.
That's an amazing story. I don't see many children's books about the law and like judges and different things. So I think this is really great. And speaking of the book as well, like what as an illustrator and or an author, like what are some of the challenges that you could say that you faced, and how you have overcome them?
I think for me, I have so many ideas that it's just really finding the time to work on everything and stay on a deadline, meet your deadlines. Because when you are a freelance artist, you are constantly working because that's how you pay your bills. So, it's just if you get a job, you have to do that job to the best of your ability, but also, within the deadline. So it's really a matter of structuring your life where, you are working on this project, you take a break, work on this project, and you just kind of bounce back and forth. And I have so many ideas that it's just, okay, how do I figure out which idea to work on first, and then how do I take this to which company and say, hey, would you guys want to publish this? And then once you get that green light, then it's just really working out a schedule where you say, okay, when I wake up this morning, I'm going to write for 2 hours. Then I'm going to switch to drawing for a couple hours. And then while the ink is drying over here, I'll go back and tinker on that story a little bit more. And then maybe I'll jot down some notes for the next story that I want to write. And then I'll send in some work, see what the people think while I'm waiting for them to give me feedback. I'll jump back on another project. So it really is just a matter of just finding a time to sort of get everything into a schedule. And then, you want to exercise and sort of have like a social life and fit that stuff in. But
Of
for
course.
me, yeah, I mean, but for me, like when I'm really like creating, like to me, it's so amazing when you sort of nail either a drawing and you're like, wow, like I got that exactly the way I was thinking about it in my head. I was able to translate it onto the page. Or when you're writing, you're like, wow, okay, I figured out a scene, and that I got that scene, and that really works, and that really works, and that's when it's like, okay, awesome, great, you know.
Right. Okay.
So it's basically finding time, where how to managing the time.
What's the phrase? Oh, just left me. See, time is and age is getting to me right now. But yes, I agree. Time is very important, and trying to find the time to do all the things as an adult is a lot. So I commend you on all the work you have done on these beautiful books that children can now read. So we know that you went to the creative and performing arts schools. We know that this is an inspiration from, law type of television shows and things like that. So, who would you say is a favorite illustrator or author of yours
Oh
personally?
no. I mean, there are just way too many, if we're gonna focus on artists, there are just so many that I can't name is like one person's a favorite. Because sometimes you'll it's like music. Like how do you name one particular artist, like that sums up everything that you love.
For
So
sure.
but for me growing up in no particular order, I mean, what Alex Toth, Walt Simonson, Frank Miller, Steve Ditko, Kyle Baker, Mike Mignola, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, George Perez. Comic book people will get who I'm talking about, and other people will say, "All these people that he's naming." But these are artists whose work was just every artist that I just named has a completely different style, and like I would just inhale I would say, wow, that was a really interesting way that they told that story. That was a beautiful drawing. Um, it was a way that they solved that problem visually. And
Mhm.
then if I think about writing or television shows, like I just did a binge of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And I've seen these shows before, although Better Call Saul I only saw the first time when it was out. And watching them back to back, I'm just so amazed at the storytelling, with those shows and the writing and the characters. And that's the kind of stuff that just inspires me. So I just get inspired by just so many different things. I always tell, kids or anybody who's aspiring to be a creator is just go to a museum. That's like the cheapest form of like, creative like inspiration. Walk around, look at all the different types of art. I go to movies all the time. I inhale like my reading pile for like art books is like this tall and I have to get to it.
Yeah.
So commercials, videos, like just people always goof on me because I'm a native New Yorker, but whenever I go back to New York to visit family or friends, I always love to go to Times Square. And people are like, wait, you're from New York. New Yorkers don't go to Times Square. For me as a visual artist, to see all of those billboards and those ads and all of that visual storytelling is just like creative heroin for me. I'm just like,
For sure.
oh, I love
Yeah.
it. So yeah, I just
Do
get
you have
inspired.
outside of Times Square, do you have a favorite place you like to visit that helps you with your creative process that's in New York? Like any museums come to mind?
When my sister, shout out to my sister Tiffany, whenever I go to New York, she has like a list of things that she wants to show me in terms of exhibitions, and I have a list of things that I want to see. And so
Mhm,
we'll just spend like the whole day just like walking around to different galleries, different museums. Like we'll go to the Met, we'll go to the Whitney, the
mhm.
MoMA, any little art gallery that we see, Brooklyn Museum, Brooklyn Library. It's amazing how many libraries have a lot of black exhibitions, which is really great.
That is great.
Because for a long, because growing up, it wasn't like that. But to
Mm,
see all of these museums having like all of these really, really, these exhibitions that are so well curated, celebrating black artists, it's just cool. So that for me is great. And so here in DC, I try to get out to like the museums as well.
awesome. So
Yeah.
prior to you working with us for, Collections of Black with Phil and of course us, did you know who August Wilson was?
Yeah. I'm familiar with all. Yeah, like I mean, and I've seen a couple of his plays
Mhm,
on Broadway, and that's another thing. Whenever I go to New York, my mom and my sister will say, "Hey, we got tickets for a show," and it's like, "What kind of black show is out there? What kind of black performance?" So, I
mhm.
think the last thing I saw was it the piano, the
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 piano
the,
lesson?
the piano
Mhm.
lesson. I think that might have been the last thing that I saw of his, and I thought that was great. And which reminds me, I got to go check that out on Netflix. But there's a bazillion things dropping that I always forget. So I'll say, okay, I'm going to go watch the piano lesson on Netflix. Then I'll see something, and I'm like, oh wait, this Diddy documentary. Let me watch this. But
All
yeah,
right. Well, we need for you to put the piano lesson in rotation, okay?
it's good. It's good. Is it good? Is the film
I have
adaptation?
I actually have to finish it, but from what I've seen, it's really good. So, we'll have to reconvene and talk about that and see your thoughts on how that
Okay.
went for
All right.
you. So, Shawn, the moment has come where, we would love to share the book that you're gonna read with us. So, I'm gonna share our screen now. We will have a visual as Shawn reads the book, and then I'll go off of camera.
Okay.
All right.
All
And
right.
as you read, I will,
Oh, this is cool. And this is such a throwback to when my mom used to read to my sister and I when we were younger. And my mom is a retired second grade school teacher. She taught for like what 30, 40 years in Harlem. So, it's really trippy to actually have a kids book that I can kind of read in the same way that my mom would read to my sister and I. Okay, so this is Judge Kim in the Kids Court, the case of the missing bicycles. This is book one. So this is like the origin story about how Kim became Judge Kim. All right. So if we start off with the first page, okay, these are the characters that you're going to see in the book. And this is just explaining when you buy the book how the book is designed to read like a comic book. And if you're not familiar with how to read a comic book, this little introduction shows you how, which is pretty cool. Okay. So it's a beautiful morning in the town of Fairville. Kim Webster and her dog Digger are still sound asleep. Bang, bang. Sometimes Kim has trouble getting up for school. Bang, 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 but not today. Good morning. Bang, bang. Kim follows the noise that interrupted her slumber. Bang, bang, bang. Daddy, some of us are trying to sleep around here. Kim, I'm so glad you're up. Mom, is that what I think it is? It's a surprise, Miles. Your father made me swear not to tell. Kids, I've finally done it. Ever since I was a boy, I wanted to build one of these. Build what? A treehouse, of course. Wow, it's so high up. Well, what are you waiting for? I've waited my whole life for this. It's amazing, Dad. Kim, come up and see. Miles made it look so easy, but to Kim, the treehouse seems a million feet high. Can we just install an elevator? What? Are you afraid of heights? I can't. It's okay, honey. You can try again later. Kim and Miles love riding their bicycles to school. Come on, pick up the pace. Hey, everybody. All the kids in Fairville pedal their bikes to school, except for Neil Strong. His electric bicycle does the pedaling for him. Engage bike lock until 3 o'clock. Bike lock engaged, sir. Cool. Neil, you're such a show off. Miguel, is your bike missing its seat? And Gabby, that peeling paint is an eyesore. Clank, clank. Kim, this bell won't pass inspection. Neil Strong, shut that thing on your face that you call a mouth. I will not, and you cannot make me. This is about to get ugly. Kim hates seeing her friends fight. Allie, please. We have to set a good example for the first graders. Well, I guess an old bike is better than no bike, right, Corey? Corey Boone is the new kid at school. I heard he walks 10 miles to school. Hey, y'all. Actually, it's only 3 miles. Hi, Corey. See you in class. Corey notices something. After school, the kids happily run outside to get their bicycles. But, hey, where's my bike? Oh no, someone must have taken it. Who would want to steal that old thing? Come on, this is serious. Miles, how am I going to get home without my bike? Don't worry, I'll call Mom. She'll come and get you. A short while later. Hop in. I've got to get back to work. It'll be okay. Wipe those tears, honey. Where I'm taking you, there are no tears allowed. Welcome to the Fairville Courthouse. This is where Kim's mother works as a judge. When people have a disagreement, they come to the judge for help. She listens to both sides of the story, then she looks at all the facts and evidence before deciding who is right and who is wrong. The case of the kitty and the couch is now in session. Please explain what happened. Your Honor, I left my living room for a few minutes, and when I returned, my couch was torn to shreds. It was my neighbor's crazy cat that did it. Your Honor, that's what they call me here. What's the big deal, Judge? My cat gets bored and likes to visit the neighbors. Before her mom decides on the case, she wants to hear what Kim thinks. So, Judge Kim, who's responsible? Well, the cat's got to pay. At dinner, Kim tells Miles about her day. And then Mom asked what I would do if I were the judge. Judge Kim, that'll be the day. I think Kim would make an excellent judge. She's smart, patient, and a good problem solver, just like her mother. Daddy, who could have taken my bicycle? I bet Corey stole it. We have a suspect. Why do you suppose it was him? He's the only kid without a bike, so he probably wanted one. That's called a motive, a reason for doing something. Kim considers Corey as a suspect, but it doesn't add up. Corey? But he's a big kid, and my bike is small. What would he want with a bike that's too small for him? Taking Miguel's bike would have made more sense. The next day at school, ay, another bike has gone missing. And another. Mine is gone too. Mine's good. Bicycle unlocked, sir. Isn't it strange how Neil's fancy bike wasn't stolen, but ours is gone? You did this. Don't be ridiculous. Come on. Neil wouldn't take your bike. He's riding in style. I guess you're right. My mom wouldn't be happy about this. Maybe I can live here. It's not your fault. Your mom will understand. Kim, are you coming up or not? Kim watches the ladder shake and sway. Maybe later. You think Corey stole my bike? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you get tired of walking to school? I guess I'm about to find out. If you want to accuse Corey of stealing these bikes, you're going to need proof. And how are we supposed to get that? I think I know someone who can help. Woof! Taking Kim's advice, the boys bring Digger to school to sniff for clues. Those tire tracks are from your bike. Woof! I think Digger wants us to follow him. Woof, woof! The boys follow the tracks through the country hills of Fairville until, hey, this is Corey's house. I knew it. What's he doing in there? Let's get a better look. Snap, slam. Corey, what are you hiding? The next day at school, the tire tracks led straight to your house. That proves you stole the bikes. Really? I didn't steal them. Corey tries to explain, but the other kids won't listen. You took my bike. You no good thief? Oh no. Corey's a good kid. There must be more to the story. Well, Judge Kim, why don't you decide this case? You know what? That's not such a bad idea. Listen, everyone, if we work together, we can figure out the truth. Kim gives each of her friends an important job. Miguel, you go interview witnesses. Gabby, take photos of the scene and look for clues. Simone, wear a disguise and see what you can find at Corey's place. Allie, you'll organize the evidence that everyone gathers. The kids' court will soon be in session. But where? Climbing up to the treehouse just seems as scary as ever. But Kim knows she can make the climb if she takes it one step at a time. Up the ladder Kim goes, never looking down. I'm only halfway there, but also only halfway to go. Just a little farther. Gosh, that wasn't so scary after all. I can see all of Fairville from up here, and this will make the perfect courtroom. Welcome to the kids' court. I'm in here. You can call me Judge Kim or Your Honor if you prefer. The case of the missing bicycles is now in session. One by one, the kids all get a chance to speak. When we discovered our bikes were missing, Corey was the only kid that wasn't with us. The school janitor said Corey had left early that day. Corey stole the bike so he wouldn't have to walk to school anymore. Miguel, 4 bikes were taken. Who needs 4 bicycles to get to school? I don't know. These tracks led us straight to Corey's house. This is your shed, isn't it? Yes. Interesting. Miles, were the bikes in his shed? Well, I should remind you, if Digger barks, that means you're lying. Nothing gets past this dog. No, I didn't see any bikes. He just shut the door before we could see inside. Interesting. Your Honor, I was able to peek inside Corey's shed. I didn't find the bicycles, but I did find this. Clank, clank. That's the bell for my bike. Things aren't looking good for Corey. The evidence against him is piling up. However, Kim knows that Corey deserves a chance to defend himself before she decides on the case. Hi, y'all. Hello, Corey. Hello, Corey. The bicycle tracks led to your shed. The bell for my bicycle was found inside. Do you have anything to say? I did it. I took your bicycles. I can't believe it. Not cool, dude. Give their bikes back. Told you so. I never doubted you. Calm down. Order the court. Bang, 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 bang. Order. Honk, honk. Gabby, you got your bike back? Yes, I found it parked in front of my house. Best of all, it has a brand new paint job. The kids gather back inside to hear Corey's explanation. Corey? Well, my dad is a mechanic, and I watch him fix things. I thought I could make new friends at school by fixing their bikes. So I took the bikes when nobody was looking. I fixed them using recycled parts. I even added some fancy upgrades. I'm sorry. Kim thinks about everything that was presented. Now it's time for her to decide who was right and who was wrong. Corey, while your intentions were good, taking our bicycles without permission was still stealing. You're right, Judge Kim. Thank you for understanding my side of the story. I hope y'all forgive me. I forgive you. I forgive you too. Case dismissed. Outside, Corey's brother arrives with a surprise. Look, it's our bikes. Beep, beep. My bike looks as good as new. I got a brand new seat. My bike has never sounded better. Honk, honk. Hey, Corey, could you steal my bike next? Ha, ha, ha. I could really use an upgrade. Kim, you did it. You really are a good problem solver. Thanks, and it's Judge Kim to you, little brother. Looks like you had a busy day. Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Thank you for the treehouse. Kim writes in her journal about climbing scary ladders, the missing bicycle, and her first time as a judge. It turns out that getting over my fear of heights ended up helping my friends too. P.S. I can't wait to ride my bike to school tomorrow. Justice is done until the next exciting case for Judge Kim and the kids' court. And in the back of the book, we have a glossary of all of the different terms that we use to explain them, like case, court, evidence, judge, justice, motive, suspect. And that's the first issue or the first installment of Judge Kim and the Kids Court.
That was wonderful. Yes.
Thank you.
I've followed all along, and I am a Law and Order SVU type girl. So I'm always trying to solve a case. So this book for me was really amazing to read along with you. And I can't wait for us to be able to use this and show our students that we interact with every day. So thank you so much, Shawn.
Oh, it's my
Um,
pleasure.
yes. So I guess I'm hoping that you could share some things with us. Is there what's next for you? Any other books or any other projects that you would like to share with us? That's next.
Yeah, well, actually, I have I wrote a series for DC Comics called Red Hood the Hill, which
Okay.
features the fan favorite character, the Red Hood, and it has him teaming up with Batman, and it's set in a section of Gotham City that I co-created called The Hill, filled with a bunch of different characters of color. Very excited about that. It came out originally as like an 8-part series, and the collected version drops in February. So that's Red Hood the Hill, which is really excited. I'm excited about work with some amazing artists on that book. Shout out to Sanford Green, Tony Akins, Stefano Giordano, letterer Tony Pateri, and colorist Matt Herms. And we have so many amazing artists do variant covers. And so for the civilians in the audience, usually when you release like a comic book, they'll have one cover, which is the main cover, and then you'll have variants, which are like covers that are done by different artists, which could be collector's items. So that was really cool. So that's coming out. That's something that I wrote. I have a creator-owned graphic novel that I've written and I've drawn for Abrams that I'm finishing up.
Nice.
Um, it's a nice little crime noir project that I'm pretty excited about. I have a creator-owned series that I'm writing for Image Comics. That's my sci-fi. That's like my Star Wars that I'm really, really excited about. And I'm working with an amazing Italian artist. Shout out to Alberto Pagliaro. And we are also working together on a Hellboy miniseries that I'm going to be writing as well. So that's what I'm working on. And there's another project that I have that it's a sci-fi story for a client that's pretty fun. So as I said, juggling a bunch of things. So
Yeah, it seems like you're booked and busy, Shawn.
I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying.
We love that for you. So, how, if someone wanted to reach you and get in contact with you or learn more about you, are you able to share with us how they can do so?
Yeah, you can check out my website, ShawnMartinbrough.com. I'm on all the social medias. I just did a Blue Sky account. So type in my name, but I'm still on Facebook. I'm sporadically on X, but LinkedIn. So yeah, you can just check me out there. But if you really want to see like the bulk of my work and what I'm working on, I suggest go to my website.
Awesome. Now, I know a young boy who I was kind of informing him about, what you have done and, shown, shown him like this particular book. And he wanted to know, since you are an artist and you draw, have you ever done a portrait of yourself?
Yeah. Not recently, but yeah, a lot of times you're asked to do a portrait, but I haven't done a portrait of myself for a long time. So I usually just end up using the same photograph like over and over again. Yeah. Although I have had people do
Gotcha.
some really good portraits of me that I'm really yeah, I was like, okay, that's pretty good. So I'm trying to think. Is it it's you know what? Yeah, actually I can't pull it off the wall, but that's a really good portrait that someone had done of me back in the day. So yeah.
Awesome. And I know that you said a few words of encouragement earlier for our young people, but any other parting words you would just like to leave with people or young people, just who wants this to be a career for them? Like any parting words, any inspirational words for them?
I would say study it like you were an athlete. If you want to write, if you want to draw, you have to practice at it. You have to, think about it like if you wanted to be a boxer, would you just jump out there and try to fight Mike Tyson? You would probably train. You do the Rocky, you do the Creed thing, you'd be doing your push-ups, your sit-ups, and everything like that, condition yourself. So the same thing as a writer. So I suggest take a writing course, read various authors, and then look for people that are like a teacher and ask them if they'd be willing to look at your work and give you feedback. You can't exist in a vacuum. I always say, show your work to people, not your family and your friends, because they love you and they don't know any better. So seek out a teacher and say, hey, can you take a look at my work and give me thoughts and give me feedback on it? Because that's how you get better, And I think one of the best pieces of advice was given to me by one of my inspirations and my good friend Walt Simonson. He said, get paid to practice. When you get to the point where someone will pay you for your work, that's a really good validator that you're on the right path. But I would say that if you want to write, really study writing. A lot of people just think that, oh, I feel like writing and I'm going to write something, and I'm like, wow, really? I mean, same thing with an artist. Like unless you were born out the womb and then you're just a genius, it takes practice, it takes study, and the
For
people that are working in this field, they've been studying for years. And not to mention people coming from overseas that their skill level's on a whole nother level. So if you want to get into this field, I recommend you really practice and really take it seriously like that.
I think that's wonderful advice. And so, yeah, this ends Storytime Spotlight. We were so thrilled to have you, and thank you for all you're doing out here and inspiring others with your drawings, your books, all of those things. Anything else you want to mention to our audience before we part ways and you continue to go ahead and do your thing because you're booked and busy out here?
Well, see, I was waiting for you to bust into like a note. I want to hear like you hit a high note or something, Catherine. We're not going to end on a high note.
Me.
Okay, all right.
That's the best I can do right now.
All right. Next
But
time,
no,
next time I'm going to put you on the spot. Next time.
for sure. I'll be more prepared then. But yes, we thank you so much, Shawn. And I look forward to reading. I have the one copy of a book, and I look forward to getting the other one so I could, have my collection here. And yes, there you go. There you have it, y'all. There's the Judge Kim Kids Court.
Yep.
Make sure you where can you purchase your books? That's what I meant to ask.
I mean, you can get them at Amazon. You can go to simonschuster.com. You can order. It's online available. Hopefully, if it's not in your bookstore, you can always order online.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Shawn. We hope you have a wonderful night. And we look forward to seeing you again soon and all the wonderful work that you are about to put out into the world.
Thanks so much for having me. This has been a pleasure. And I really loved the work that you're doing at the August Wilson Cultural Center in Pittsburgh, PA.
And speaking of that, thank you, Shawn. Please stay tuned for any events that we have coming up at our website at awaacc.org. And stay tuned for our next Storytime Spotlight taking place in March. So have a good night, everybody, and see you again in March. Bye.
Take care.
See ya.